Hey, so we're so glad you guys are on. This is being recorded for people who are not able to be with us on live. And we are excited to start our weekly business calls. So we're going to focus on doing one concept or principle, whatever skill a month. So this month we're going to work on how to teach a class. And so today we're going to go through the first half of the class. And then next week, we'll go through the last half of the class. The third week of the month, we'll do some role playing that I'm sure will be very uncomfortable for everybody, me included. And then the last week, we'll do some troubleshooting and some like what to do if problems.
And these aren't, I mean, obviously we've all taught classes, you understand, but this is totally different than the way we've all been taught to teach classes in the past. So that's been great. It's worked out wonderfully so far. So obviously we want to share how great this is.
So don't be afraid to think outside the box, because some of this stuff goes against kind of what we've been doing or what we've been taught to do for years of doTERRA. But this is stuff that's working and has been super successful. So we're implementing it. We love it. It makes things simpler and better, I think. So we wanted to pass this information on to you. So this is training that we're paying for, and then we pass it on to you for free. So how about that? So anyway, so first thing when you're starting off a class, and don't worry, one of these months we'll do how to get people to host a class. We'll do that too, okay? But first off, the first thing you want to do obviously is pleasantries when you get your people all in there and meet everybody, get to know everybody's name. But one of the best icebreaker questions is, how has your week been so far? Because from that question, what is probably going to come up? Can you guess?
I don't know, I've kind of been sick.
Oh, look, Lorraine. Yeah, wow, about all their problems, right? And one of their problems is probably going to be a health concern, right? Like, oh, you know, I'm not sleeping well, I'm not feeling well, my kids are out of control or not being well. Yeah, accidents, I like it. Good. So yeah, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, health concerns. We're sure come up in there.
Oh, right there.
That's a great icebreaker. Okay. So obviously there's other icebreaker questions you can ask, but I like that one. That one's my favorite because it's going to give you information that you want, and it's going to help you with your class. So the second thing that is recommended is to give an agenda. So if you give an agenda before you start teaching your class, it kind of relieves that pressure. Oh, what is she saying? Bridget's saying, oh, that is a good point. So Bridget just pointed out in the chat. So down on the Zoom, in Zoom, there is a little, it's like a little conversation bubble, and it's called chat. And so we can actually do a group chat. So if you have a question, you can type it in there, and everybody can see it, so other people can ask the question, or we can answer your question. Like right there, Bridget just said, I don't think everybody knows about that, so you should point it out. So thank you, Bridget. Very good point. So anyway, so the first thing that I like to get started with, or that we've been trying to get started with, is an agenda. So if you give an agenda, then they know what is going to happen, and it takes that pressure off of them, that they can then feel comfortable and kind of let their guard down a little bit. So how many of you guys have ever taught a class where somebody else seems to ask way too many questions and kind of take the class in a whole different direction that you didn't want it to go in? Does anybody have that happen? So how you can get those people to not do that is to lay out an agenda at the beginning, because then they feel safe because they know what's going to happen, and then they know that you're in control and you know what's going to be covered. So yeah, so you give them the pressure, or sorry, give the agenda to relieve the pressure. So in the agenda, just let them know, hey, this is what we're going to do tonight. We're going to learn a little bit about doTERRA. we're going to go over your health concerns, or we're going to go over your health goals. We're going to talk about the company and some of the products. And third, I just want you to know that there's no pressure to buy anything, but if you see something you like, we can order it for you tonight. And that is such a key phrase to throw in there right off the bat, because when you say that, there's no pressure for you to buy. You see everybody's countenance just kind of relaxes and they smile and and then, but then you're also telling them, but if you see something you want, I'll help you order it tonight, because we're not messing around. We are here to help you order things, right? And we're going to do it tonight. We're adding a little bit of urgency in there. Like, we can get it for you tonight or today, whenever it is you're teaching. But it's important to throw that in there, that there's no pressure for them to buy. It puts them at ease, obviously. And then, so after you do, so that was the agenda, right? You've got number 1 is the health goals. Number 2 is the company and products. Number 3, you're going to tell them there's no pressure to buy anything, but if you see something you want, we can order it tonight. And then number 4, you just ask them, so what things do you want to make sure we learn about today or tonight? And it can be things like, oh, I want to make sure I know the prices, or I want to know how to use lavender, or whatever it is. I'm most interested in the family physician's kit, or whatever, if they've come in with some previous knowledge or whatever.
Melissa, I was also going to mention that it's perfectly fine to have like a sheet of paper
Absolutely.
with the agenda right on it, so that they realize that you're not memorizing this, right? And so that and then as they tell you things they want to learn, then you can just jot those down so you don't want to forget, you know.
Absolutely. That is, Marilyn, I'm so glad you said that. Thank you so much. Because yes, that is very important, because obviously, right, I have a piece of paper with things written down right here, because there's things that I want to make sure that we go over. I don't want to forget anything, right? So I have my notes. So by me telling you that, doesn't that kind of make you feel comforted or at ease or confident in me if I have things written down, because I don't want to forget to tell them to you, right? That doesn't make you think any less of me, right, if I have notes. So it's just fine to have notes at your classes. Anything else you want to add about agenda?
No.
No? Okay. So the next thing is that a lot of times we're encouraged to tell our story, to tell our doTERRA story about how we started using the oils, or why we started using the oils, or why we got into this part. And Tasha says, nobody cares. What does everybody care about? What's their number 1 thing that they care about?
Themselves.
Got it. Themselves. We have one live audience member, and she said it. Themselves. Everybody cares about themselves the most, and that's okay, right? That's human nature. We care about ourselves first. So if you're presenting a class, you're teaching a class, they really don't care to hear your story. I mean, they might, I'm sure it's interesting and it's, you know, entertaining, but it's not going to make them pull out their credit card and order, you know, a family physician's kit just based on your story. So Tasha's recommendation is to totally take that part out of your class. It's just not necessary, and it doesn't help anyone tremendously, though, and it's not gonna boost your sales. So it's good, because that kind of can sometimes take up a big chunk of your class time, right? So and how do you say it compliantly? Oh my gosh, I don't know. So now you don't even have to worry about it. You can just take it right out of there. Sorry, let me check my notes. What else was next though? Did you have anything else you wanted to say after that or no? No? Do you want to get into that, or do you want to focus on it?
No, I can do this part, right?
Yeah, so going into...
Yeah, so obviously we're not talking about the story about ourselves and how first time I used lavender, blah, blah, blah. But what we do want to do is we're going to talk about doTERRA as a company. A couple of reasons we want to do this.
Oh, wait. I'm so sorry. I knew I was forgetting something. Okay, so before you get into that, you want us to ask them, say, tell me a little bit about your health concerns. Oh, Brandon already put it in there. Okay, so that's why I skipped over it. Okay. So this is important because you want to make sure they know that the class is all about them, right? It's not about you and about your story and what oils you use for what, but it's going to be about them. So you ask them to say, hey, tell me a little bit about your health concerns. And as they say one, say, and is there anything else, or what's next, or what else? Just to pull a few things out of them, because sometimes, especially women or as mothers, like if you ask me what my health concerns would be, they would probably be related to my children, and it would probably have to list 3 or 4 before I finally got to one that had to do with me, because that's how we are, right? So if you can ask that question, like, what else? You know, what else is another health concern? Then you'll get to some good roots health concerns. And another way to phrase it is if you tell them, you know, I want to make sure that I cover things that are important to you, and I don't want to bore you with the details that don't concern you. And how would that make you feel if somebody said that to you in a class? Pretty important, huh? Like, wow, this is all about me, and she's making this class all about me, and she doesn't want to bore me with unimportant details. This is awesome. This is going to be a good use of my time.
So, Bridget, you just said it feels a little scary to take your story out of the class. You're not necessarily taking your story out of the class. You're in talking about the essential oils a little bit later on during the class. You're going to bring up your experiences with the essential oils. You're going to bring up your stories. But then that way it's coming out in a natural form instead of like just, oh, I've had such amazing experiences right now, and let me share and vomit on all the different, you know, oil usages that you've had or oil experiences that you've had. So that's why it's going to come up naturally in the conversation. So you're not taking it out, you're just not talking about it. If that makes a little more sense.
And it's okay to tell them if they're asking, you know, one-on-one after the class or something, like, what do you use this for or whatever, and then you can tell them. But for sure, you want to make it more about them and less about you. It just, you'll see. It's good. It's good stuff. But it is scary. This is like, what we're selling you stuff is like so scary, so not natural, so out there. But there are numbers behind this that just show that this is a way better way to teach a class.
Absolutely. So after we've told them about the 4 things that we're going to talk about, we want to talk about doTERRA. The reason why we want to talk to them about doTERRA just a little bit is just strictly for the fact of then they're going to feel comfortable buying from you. You're not going to feel like they're being duped or scammed, or if you're selling something from a good company, if you're selling something, can you guys hear us now? I hope so.
I think we need to.
Okay. But it makes it gives them a more reassuring feeling when you're doing that.
Is it still echoing? Or is it better now? I think we need to paper.
Okay.
Thank you.
So here is just
still echoing. We're in a tin can.
I don't know how to fix that. Hopefully it'll get a little bit better.
It's still echoing. We're in a cave. Oh, that's better than a tin can. We are in American Fork. So
Most people don't know.
I know. Still echoing though. So what should we move? Okay, is it better? Is the sound better now?
Yeah, let's just keep rolling.
Okay.
So here's a really easy script, and I can share this with on our Be Share Build page afterwards. But here's a very simple script that you can talk about with someone as far as about doTERRA. And I'm going to read it. It's easier that way. doTERRA is one of the largest essential oil distributors in the world. It is the largest. We work with families to use natural solutions for their everyday health. Moms turn to us when their current approach to health is not achieving the results it was supposed to. They are tired of using chemical concoctions for literally everything. They are confused by all the natural options out there, and they never have time to research it all. They want more energy to do the things that they love without the side effects of stimulants. And they want to increase the overall quality of their health. quality of life for their family. I hope this is working a little bit better.
Let's try and see. Okay, so who can hear us and who can't? We're having more technical difficulties than we thought.
Let's just keep going. We do have a recording.
Okay.
So to continue on with that, so you've talked about this is where moms usually come and ask us for things. And then what the offering, what doTERRA offers. So doTERRA offers a full line of essential oil kits to support your family's health goals, whatever they are.
I forgot about
doTERRA has raised the bar in the essential oil industry. There are no fillers, no artificial ingredients, and no dilution. The plants are grown in their ideal environments, and the oils go through 5 levels of testing to ensure purity and potency. This means that when you see the doTERRA label, you can be assured that you will see the highest quality or the highest health benefits. And then you always want to bring in the guarantee. And obviously doTERRA has a great one. If you don't like it and return it within 30 days, you'll get 100% product credit to try something else, or 90% return back to your garden. So right there, in bringing all those, talking about those points, you're talking about the things that most families, some of the concerns that they usually have, hopefully some of the ones they brought up. You've talked about what doTERRA has to offer, essential oils and kits to bring your family's health goals, or bring you closer to your family's health goals. What makes doTERRA different, and you've given them a guarantee. So it's a great way to bring right into now we're going to talk.
Okay, so we need to mute everybody.
Everyone is ready to.
Well, Melissa's not muted, or that means she's not personally muted, but we've muted her. Okay, so Brent says he's muted everybody. Hopefully it's working. It doesn't look like they are maybe from that end, but we've muted everybody on our end. Yeah, we've muted her. So sorry, hopefully. It'll be recorded, so the recording should be clear, right? Hopefully, we'll find out. We're learning as we go. Okay, so we can provide hard copies, yeah. So we can do some notes and hard copies, like we can give you a copy of that one about the doTERRA, the company name, or the company things to say about the company. And then will you pull up the slides and do the screen share? So we have this little presentation, let's see, that we did on our Facebook 101 class. And this is a good thing to use, even if you only used it on your notes and talked through it that way, or you could, just read through it or whatever that way. So go to post 3, right there. So you could read this, because this is enough information here. What is an, I want to just pick and choose them. So what is an essential oil? Okay, so you can just read these things, and that is enough information on what is an essential oil. When you teach this class from start to finish, it should really only be 30 minutes, which is crazy, because how many of us have classes that are only 30 minutes? So yes, and we can share the PowerPoint for sure. And then the next one is to go in and talk about what is an essential oil, or sorry, we already did that one. How we use essential oils, number 4. Super simple. At this point, you could give them an essential oil to use if you wanted to, for them to put in their hands, show them how to cup diffuse, or to rub on the back of their neck. But just keep it simple. Keep it simple. And then number 5, I always try to talk about this, right? Because this is like what gives doTERRA or essential oils a bad name, right? Somebody's like, I won't use essential oils because I got in my eye once, and I washed out with water and I burned. So giving them some straight up some information on how to use essential oils safely for them and their entire family, and also showing them how to know which oils they can take internally, and when they are using them internally, to not put them in a, you know, disposable water bottle that's gonna, you know, be eaten away by the lemon. But anyway, and then from here, you're just gonna hop right into the essential oils.
So real quick, the PowerPoint that I have has a lot of slides we're not talking about, but when I send it out to you, it'll have all those slides, and you can actually delete out the ones you don't want to use and make it your own class. So.
Okay. So Brenda had a question. She says, I'm a little intimidated by my lack of knowledge. I'm working to overcome that, but sometimes wonder if I should wait on telling people about earning money with doTERRA until I know more. Oh gosh, well, I hope you mean the business part, right? Like, you can still talk about doTERRA even if you're not earning money, right? Is that what you mean, I hope? Okay. Because you're not talking about the business part of it with them. Even if you were, just pull in an outline to help you with that. But this, hopefully, Brenda, will make this so simple for you that it will just simplify the process and make it less intimidating for you. Okay, so we're going to get into the, oh, will you repeat what you said about the, and I will answer Marilyn's question, yeah.
I just said, as far as the PowerPoint, there's a lot of slides in there that we're not using. But when I send it to you, it'll have all the extra slides. You can just delete them out so that you don't have to use every single one. Typically in a class, like, I'm not going to talk about the lifelong vitality necessarily,
No.
but I'm going to start right into the essential oils. So you can customize it a little bit and make it your own.
So we're only going to talk about the 10 essential oils, the 10 basic ones that are in the Family Physicians Kit or Family Essentials Kit and the Home Essentials Kit. Because basically what happens is you can only hear about 10 new products. And after that, it's overload and it's too much information. So you don't want to get into the vitamins. You don't want to get into Clary Calm or whatever else is going on. What other oils are coming up. You want to save that for a wellness consult. That would be a great time to talk about those other products or the vitamins. But for sure, you want to pass around each oil and have them smell it all. And I like to do this, obviously, as we're talking about each oil individually. And so we're going to start into that right now. So lemon. And I would pass around the lemon for everybody to smell because it smells so good anyway. So yes, a wellness consult is best done one-on-one after they've received their product. That's the best time to do a wellness consult. Good question, Bridget. Thank you. So as you're passing around the oils, it's good to really only give just a couple, 2 to 3 key points about what the oil is used for. Now, this is the hardest part for me for switching this up. I would always start the class by saying lemon. I love to put this one in my water, and I use it to help regulate my blood pressure, and I used to black out, and I don't anymore. Well, who cares, right? Who else has that problem? Sure, some people, but not a lot. And they don't care about me, right? They care about them. So, I can say lemon. This oil is in your kit, and you will love to put this one in your water. It is a great, natural, gentle daily detox that will help keep you regular. And whatever else you want to say about lemon, the smell is uplifting and can help elevate your mood. So if I'm talking about me using the oil and what I use it for, and then if I'm telling you what you can use the oil for, right? If I'm talking about me, in your head, you're imagining me using the oil in my water. But if I say, you can use this oil in your water as a natural detox and help elevate your mood, you're imagining that you are using the lemon oil, right? Yeah? And another thing to kind of put in there is this oil is in your kit. Because what do we want them to buy at the end of the class? It's a kit, right? We don't want them to just buy like a bottle of lemon or a bottle of whatever. We want them to buy the kit because the kit is going to be the most beneficial option for them. Not for you, but for them. So this has been, yes, and most cost effective. Absolutely, Melissa. So by turning your phrases around to focus it less on you and more on them, you're making the class about them. And then you can also, here is where you would incorporate the health concerns that they brought up at the beginning of the class. Here is where you can plug it in. So say Mary said, you know, oh, and I struggle with, you know, mood, low mood. Then you can just say, and Mary, this is a great one to help boost mood or to regulate mood. So then you're making this one personal for her. So the last thing you want to do after you present, you know, 2 to 3 points about the oil, like actually you can do this anytime there, doesn't have to be the last thing. But it's to ask them a question that's going to get everybody to say yes. So wouldn't it be great to have something to do a little bit of natural detox daily? Yes. Yes, that would be good. Or couldn't everybody use a little help elevating their mood? Just asking a question at the end of that lemon, or at the beginning of the lemon, or in the middle of talking about the lemon, is going to make them say yes. Okay, because the point here is if you can get them saying yes throughout the class to you, then what are they going to be most likely to say at the end if you ask them if they'd like to get a full membership? Yes, because they already said yes to you like 10 times during the class. So now they're going to be able to say yes to you when you ask them if they are interested in getting a wholesale membership. Okay? So this is like human psychology right here. Coming to you in form of sales. So are we answering questions? Did everybody? Yes, you got it, Marilyn. Yep, so getting them to nod their heads, even if they aren't saying yes out loud, even if they're nodding their head like this, then you know you're doing a good job. And Melissa says, you're not good at selling when people say it costs too much. Yeah, and we'll get to that too at the end. And yes, you got it, Bridget. Ask them questions that get them engaged, absolutely. And because you remember, you're wanting to make this personal to them. So you can take part of your story here, right? Like part of my story is the lemon in my water for blood pressure, but I can tweak that a little bit and still focus on the water, the lemon in the water. Okay, so to reiterate.
Yeah.
Yes, you got it. Yes. So ask them a question that gets them to say yes after each oil, or you can say at the beginning of the oil, wherever it is that it feels natural. And we'll get to some of those when we talk about the other oils. But yeah, basically you want them sometime during that one oil to say yes to you. Like, doesn't everybody need this one? Or couldn't you use this? Wouldn't that be great? Or isn't that neat? It can be any question along those lines. Okay, and Melissa says, ask questions. Oh, okay, and hopefully we'll clear that up, Melissa, when we get to the close. So what questions have worked best for us? It depends on the oil. So like, for instance, lavender, which we can get to lavender next. Say lavender. Okay, most people know that this is associated with sleep and stress. Like, couldn't we all use some more sleep at night? Heck yeah. That's a question that you could ask that almost everybody will say yes to. Or couldn't we all use something to help us cope with stress in our lives? Yes. So those are a few good questions for lavender. And we'll try to go over a few good questions for each oil. Yeah, that's another one. So itchy skin. Like, don't your kids always seem to have some weird mystery rashes or bug bites, or we can go with whatever time of year it is. So yeah, those are great questions for lavender. And again, on this one, just hit some of the few main points that are gonna go hit most people's health concerns. The interesting thing is though, is that you actually want to spend the least amount of time on the products or oils that you know they want to purchase. So if you know that lavender is going to address most of their health concerns, we actually need to spend the least amount of time talking about that oil. And most people flip-flop this and do it the other way around. But we don't need to spend our time selling it to them if they already know that they need it, right? If they're already struggling with stress and sleep, which 90% of Americans are, and they know this is going to help them, we don't need to go on and on about it for 5-10 minutes. Okay, yeah, so. Oh yeah, so Bridget, that's a great one to say, yeah, use the lavender to help get the sting out of bites or the itch out of bites. That's a great one to mention, especially if it's in the summer months. And yes, so Kaylee, I think you asked for health concerns at the beginning. So right after you do your agenda, you just ask them to tell you a little bit about their health concerns. The key word there is a little bit, right? You don't want them to feel like you're divulging into everything, but a little bit. And hopefully that'll make them feel safe and comfortable to give you something. Good. Okay, that sounds good. So yeah, so just share a few things about lavender and pass that one around. And then the same with peppermint. So peppermint, you can even talk about how cooling it is. And so say it's, it's summer when you're teaching this class, you can say, this is a great one for cooling. Wouldn't that be nice to have had this afternoon when it was 90 degrees outside? And everybody's like, yeah, that would have been nice to have had some peppermint when it was 90 degrees outside today. Or, maybe it's cold and flu season and you're talking about when kids have fevers. And you can say, man, wouldn't it be nice to have another option at 2 a.m. rather than rushing your kids to the emergency room or, doping them up with, well, maybe you shouldn't say the emergency room part. Scratch that. Okay. Wouldn't it be nice to just have another option at 2 a.m. and leave it at that? So yes, hot flashes for sure. That's another great one. So just keep it simple though. Remember, just like, I would say at the most 3 points per oil and things that are going to focus on their health concerns. And I just lost my train of thought. I was going to say something else about peppermint. And yes, it is great to put in a spray bottle with water and spray it on. That is a great cooling mist. Yeah, and nervous stomach, absolutely. So many things. Yes, and if you forget to brush your teeth, peppermint is a great breath freshener. See, I'm all about the funny jokes. I love it. Okay, so yeah, whatever is going to help meet their health concerns while you're going over that oil. I had something else I wanted to say, and I hope it comes back to me because I totally forgot about it. Do you have anything else you want to add in? No? Okay. All right. Well, we don't want to bombard with too much information. So this was as far as we were going to go for tonight. And then next week, talk about the rest of the oils and kind of go over the close. But so what other questions do you guys have so far?
Well, to say also, I will have some of this typed up so you have a bullet points of all the points that we've kind of talked about tonight. So don't feel like if you didn't hear something beginning of the class, we'll be able to take care of you. You'll be able to follow along and be a little bit better prepared. Yeah.
Yes, and we will have the agenda portion on there too, Kaylee, for sure. And then
yes, the class will be the same time.
No. Sorry. Okay, so next Monday we have a Facebook class at 7. So we'll probably have to move this to 8 o'clock, which I know will be late for our East Coast people, but I don't want to do it before. I'd rather do it after.
So, and also, this might feel like a little bit of madness right now. Creation is madness. It's
Creation's messy.
very messy, but this is game changing for everyone. I promise if you guys will do it this way, it'll change. You'll have like an 80+% closing rate versus, you know, a lot lower than that for most of us.
Okay, so
We're gonna talk about that a little bit later.
I know. So so Melissa, your question, I kind of want to wait and get to next week. I'm so sorry that will be so late. So, is that okay? Anyway, oh, I know. I just remembered the last thing I wanted to say about when we were talking about peppermint. Okay, so what's actually more effective than talking about your own personal stories is a third person testimonial. So you could actually take your own story and make it about a friend and tell that story, and it would be more, it would have more weight. It would be more believable, crazy enough, than if it was from you directly. Isn't that funny? But that's what we tend to believe as humans. So yes, I'm sorry. So yeah, next week we have to move it to 1 hour later. So it will be 8 o'clock. We'll put that on our Facebook group. But so next week we're going to go over the last half of the class. The next week we'll talk about, we're going to role play some of it. And then the last week we're going to do troubleshooting. So, but does anybody else have any other questions or any aha moments or terrified moments? So why don't personal stories work so well? It's all psychology stuff. We just don't find it as believable for whatever reason. So, were you going to say something?
Just like you said, you want people to think of envision themselves using the oil, not you using it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that it becomes realistic.
Absolutely. We have our live studio audience okay, so she just mentioned that those personal stories, again, they aren't working as well only because when they hear your personal story, they're imagining you using the oil. But we want them to imagine themselves using the oil, not us using the oil. So that's why we want to keep it to making it all about them or doing that third person. And then it's more, they can just imagine it better. And it's more believable. So, let's see.
Okay, as far as PowerPoint in someone else's house, like Lorraine, you're asking, I wouldn't necessarily do the PowerPoint in someone else's house, but I might have the script because you know you can print these out and you can put like the 9 slides on a page or whatever. So that can be your notes. You can write other things you want on it. But then when you're talking about it, you know, when you're talking about the, you know, be careful as far as internally ingesting oils or whatever, like the cautionary parts, you can be showing them that on the bottle, you know, it says supplement packs or whatever. If you're talking about peppermint, you're throwing around a bottle of peppermint for each of them to smell instead of looking at the slide on the presentation. So you're not going to use that PowerPoint in a in-home situation. That makes sense.
Yep. So we just use these for online. So say you were doing a Zoom call 101 with somebody or Facebook, then these slides are nice because it has that visual appeal there. But I wouldn't recommend it for an in-home class. So just print them out and use it as your notes, whichever ones you want to use as your notes.
And
so, Bridget wants to know when we're hosting a presentation on how to get people to your classes. We're actually going to do that next month. I know that seems so far away, but we really want to focus on perfecting a skill before we move on to the next one. So this month, we're just working all on how to teach a class. And then next month will be how to set an appointment and how to get people to show up, okay? Because you don't want them to show up if you don't know what you're teaching. So, so let's see. Okay, sounds good. It looks like everybody's got it. So,
So by tomorrow, give me till tomorrow morning and I'll have all the bullet points listed out. I'll put that and the PowerPoint I'll put on our Breathe Share Build page and for you guys to use and start working on.
and oh yeah, in this class, hopefully we'll help you cut back on papers that you need to pass out. Really, we don't need to pass out tons of handouts. We don't need a tear sheet or, you know, we don't need to pass out anything at this point, unless you wanted to pass out something for them to take notes. But the whole point of this is to make this simpler, right? So if we can make the class simpler, it's going to save you time and money and resources, and then you make more money because you're going to have a higher closing rate. So I really think that this will help you guys change your business. It has been life-changing for us to just look at running our business a different way and how we're helping people and just turning that focus right onto them and not us.
And I think what Melissa just said right there is key. Yes, it's going to help you make more money, but at the same token, it's going to help you help more people. You're going to be able to share it. You're going to be able to help so many people, so many more people change aspects of their life for the better.
So cool. So thanks for joining us, guys. Facebook message us with any other questions you have or comments you have, or put it in the Facebook group too. That works. But we just want to try to keep these a little bit shorter because we know you have families and sleep you need to get to. But yet we want to give you some of this good info. So every Monday night we'll be doing this. Oh, let's see. Oh, Melissa, she's talking to her. Okay. And so next week, 8 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, and same Zoom call info. So proud of you guys for getting on Zoom. It can be scary, but you did it. So thanks so much for being on. So yes, Brenda, next Monday at 8 o'clock. Hope you can hear us.
And we will get that site figured out as well.
Yep. And hopefully the sound will be better next time. So yes, we will have hard copies out and scripts out, so that you guys have all the notes. That will all be printable for you on Breathe Share Build.
Everyone have a wonderful rest of your night, and we will see you later.